In the 1100 plus chapters of One Piece, the Strawhat Pirates under Captain Monkey D. Luffy have amassed a ragtag group of crewmates that all have a unique dream, goal, or aspiration in mind. Luffy seems to bring out these qualities in everyone he encounters. Along their journey across the seas, Luffy has inspired his crew, and many others as well, to believe they can actually achieve their dreams, and as an unintended result, I believe Luffy has given his fellow crewmates a new dream entirely. That is ensuring that Luffy becomes the Pirate King and achieves his unspoken dream as well. In today's video, I break down the dream of each of the Straw Hats, what inspired their dream, and their current progress in achieving it. My name is Champazard. If you like the video, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe as it helps the video in the YouTube algorithm and it helps my channel grow. I greatly appreciate your support, and let's get started. Longest tenured crewmate along with Nami, and right-hand man Zoro has a dream that we've known about since around chapter 5 when we saw Zoro's flashback to his days as a young swordsman in training. He made a vow to his fallen friend Kuina, who was tragically killed by down D stairs, to one day become the greatest swordsman in the entire world. Zoro had already aspired to be a great swordsman prior to Kuina's death, but as with many desires that revolve around being the strongest, it was at least partially revolved around proving others wrong. Zoro had become accustomed to being unable to defeat Kuina in battle to the point that it became an ambition of his. He initially questioned his inability to defeat her, which ultimately led him to stating he would sail the seas to become the world's greatest swordsman. Due to Zoro being a child, a lot of his resolve for his dream was based in childish reasoning, which is when he states directly after, "I can't keep losing to that girl." Despite being just a kid, Zoro felt embarrassed and humiliated due to his inability to defeat her, but this would ultimately change as Zoro matured. Shortly after his initial declaration to become the world's strongest swordsman, Kuina and Zoro had a heart-to-heart talk. Kuina states that she knows Zoro will surpass her due to him being a man, and her father telling her that she can't become a master swordsman due to being a girl. Upon hearing this, Zoro isn't accepting of it due to his dream also being to defeat her. He wants his reason for winning to be due to his hard work and perseverance, not because Kuina grew weaker and gave up on her goals due to being a girl. They then make a promise to one another that one of them will one day become the world's strongest and greatest swordsman. Upon Kuina's death, the significance of Zoro's dream and the underlying motivations would greatly change. He no longer wanted to be the world's greatest swordsman just to defeat Kuina and to prove he was stronger than her, but because of the promise he made. Zoro's desire to be the strongest was no longer just based on a selfish desire to be better than Kuina, but it was because of Kuina herself and the promise they made. The friend he lost who inspired him to make that promise to begin with became such a driving force in Zoro's ambition to become the strongest. With Kuina's death, she became unable to keep that promise to Zoro, so Zoro is no longer trying to become the greatest for himself, but also for his fallen friend who is unable to do so herself, as Zoro is the only one left to make that promise they made that day a reality. Zoro even continues to wield Kuina's sword, the Wado Ichimonji, which is symbolic of Kuina still being by Zoro's side as a driving factor in his goals even many years after her death. Currently there is one man standing in the way of Zoro's dream, Dracula Mihawk. Mihawk is unquestionably the greatest swordsman in the One Piece universe, and we've known this since his debut in the Baratie arc. The gap between Zoro and Mihawk was first made evident in their iconic duel at the Baratie. There have been many other great swordsmen that Zoro has had to face, and I'm sure there'll be more before his final face-off of Mihawk to claim the title of the world's greatest swordsman. We don't say much when it came to Zoro's training during the time skip, but we do know that after seeing Luffy lose Ace, and realizing he has to become stronger, he became able to set aside his pride and ask the man he one day aims to beat to train him. Zoro now has a bounty of over 1 billion berries, possesses Conqueror's Haki, and Enma, the blade of Odin himself. He's established himself as one of the world's greatest swordsmen already, but due to the nature of his dream varying from that of the other Straw Hats, his requires defeating another, meaning he will be up to his own individual strength to make his dream a reality. The money-loving navigator of the Straw Hat crew, Nami, has a clear and fitting goal: to map the oceans of the entire world. But first her desire is to navigate all of the world's oceans. Naturally she would need to do so if she was to map the entire world. A dream like Nami's could pertain to the greater endgame of One Piece due to some areas like Laugh-Tale not appearing on any world maps, and much less being known of places such as the New World. To find out how she came to have this goal, we can take a deeper look into the Arlong Park arc, where we first gained a greater understanding of Nami's motivations and why she believes so much in Luffy. Nami's dream was established early in her life as a child when she lived with Belmare, when we see her stealing books from bookstores due to them liking the money to purchase them outright. We gain further insight upon learning that she stole a book pertaining to navigation and that she's been studying the subject. Belmare even comments on how she drew a map of the island that they were living on, saying she can even draw land maps beyond just ocean charts like she initially believed. Upon Arlong's arrival and the terror that would soon ensue on the island, Nami's dream took on a different meaning. It became a proclamation to Belmare to live so she could see the world map she could one day create shortly before Belmare died. Afterwards, Arlong discovered Nami's maps, deeming it a valuable skill that he could utilize. Arlong turned her dream into a nightmare as she was forced to navigate and draw maps for him as a means to protect her home and loved ones. She would then spend years using her innate talent at drawing maps that had helped forge her dream as a means to one day free her village from Arlong's rule. Naturally, Arlong never intended to allow this to happen and only planned to use Nami for her abilities until his defeat versus Luffy. Arlong kept Nami to exploit her natural-born talent of navigating and mapping, and now under the leadership of Luffy, she is able to reclaim this gift and put it to use how she sees fit. In the more current arcs of the manga, Nami's abilities have not been at the forefront of her character, but nonetheless she has traveled much of the world's oceans and assuredly done her duty of mapping them. Even her fighting abilities with the climate tact, such as being based in weather, pertain to her talents of being a navigator and having the vast knowledge that comes with that to be successful. Being with Luffy and venturing to the rarest and unknown regions of the oceans, such as Lifetail even, makes her dream that much more achievable. When Usopp first joined the Straw Hats, he was cowardly, weak, and a liar, things that we still see in his character today, albeit much progress has been made to combat these less than desirable traits. Usopp's dream is to become a brave warrior of the sea, a dream that really came to fruition when he encountered the giants Story and Broggy way back in the Little Garden arc. The giants inspired Usopp after he befriended them as he saw the power, determination, and bravery they exhibited. This was a stark comparison to the character of Usopp at the time and is a fitting dream for him to have. But much of Usopp's dream to become a brave warrior than we see signs of very early on. It seems to be deeply ingrained with the absence of his father and the death of his mother. In chapter 41, we see Mary discuss Usopp as a child. Shortly before his mother passed, Usopp ran into town saying pirates were coming, telling himself that his dad had come back for them, that his mom will get better when his dad takes them to sea. The tragedy of loss and the unacceptance of his mother's passing seems to have played a heavy role in the origins of Usopp's lying. His mother tells him he shouldn't say silly lies, and his response is that he wants to keep dreaming since he's the son of a pirate. Mary remarks that Usopp maintained the lie of pirates are coming for days after his mother's death, but this could be perceived as more than simply a lie, and that Usopp, in his sadness, was simply trying to manifest it into coming true as he so desperately wanted it to happen. He dreamed of seeing his father coming and taking him away. Mary even says that in that very lie was Usopp's strongest desire. Just as Mary said, Usopp created his own hope in the form of lies and stories. A lot of Usopp's lies were things he dreamed of coming true, such as going on many adventures and conquering great adversaries. Stories that were once desires that ultimately became true as Usopp ventured out with Luffy and the Straw Hat crew. Lies he told to the villagers who ridiculed him for making stuff up are now true stories he can tell to those willing to listen. He lied of leading many men, and then at Dressrosa, many began to revere him as God Usopp. Usopp's dream wasn't as grandiose as maybe Zoro or Nami's, but his dreams were rooted in the loss and despair he had endured as a child. Maybe one day he will soon meet his dad, Yasopp, as equals, both snipers of their respective crews, and many of Usopp's adventures are still yet to unfold. There's even the theory that all of his lies eventually come true. Usopp's dream is unique among the Straw Hat crew, and I think intentionally by Oda's design. Usopp's dream to become a great warrior of the sea isn't something tangible like finding the All Blue or reuniting with an old friend. It's something that only Usopp has to say when he's achieved it. It's more of something to prove to himself. We also get more insight into Usopp's character through Sogeking. The alter ego of Sogeking can be seen as a manifestation of Usopp's desire to achieve his dreams. Usopp is inherently a coward, but with Sogeking, it's an alter ego he brings out to counter the inherent cowardly nature within him. We see this in Indy's lobby when he takes on the persona of Sogeking because he's afraid to show his face to the Straw Hat crew, even though they know it's him, except for Luffy and Chopper. But we see even more of this on Thriller Bark, when Usopp once again dons the mask of Sogeking and when fighting Perona. Usopp is on the verge of defeat and is overwhelmed by Perona's strength, saying it's unfair for him to be fighting her. But when on the door of defeat, Usopp says, "Save me, Sogeking," once again dons the mask and finds a way out of that sticky situation. Usopp's cowardly nature had taken over in that moment and he was on the verge of giving up. By once again donning the mask of Sogeking, he was able to gain some bravery and once again forge a path to victory. But Usopp, without question, has gotten more brave in the post-time skip era, as we have yet to see Sogeking since Thriller Bark. Over the course of hundreds of chapters, we have seen many acts of bravery, honesty, conviction, and resoluteness from Usopp to touch his fight with Luffy, the iconic God Usopp moment, and much more. It is my belief that in many ways, Usopp has already achieved his dream, and will continue to carve the legend of Usopp the Brave in the chapters to come, especially as we reach Elbaf in the manga. Sanji has stated that his dream is to find the All Blue, an ocean or legend where all four seas meet together. At first glance, it can be confusing as to why Sanji would care to find a place like this, but the All Blue is a common dream of chefs across the entire world of One Piece due to its ideal resources, so we see this also in Zeph. The All Blue supposedly has fish from all four of the world's seas, and this is everything a pirate ship could ever dream of. It is also important to see the inspiration behind Sanji's dream, which stems from his mentor and father figure Zeph, who saved him as a child. Zeph also searched for the Sea of Legend with his former crew. Unfortunately though, Zeph failed to find the All Blue, but his conviction lives on in Sanji. Some surface level reasoning for Sanji wanting to find the All Blue stems from his passion of cooking and being a chef. He once mentions how the All Blue is a place of convergence for all four of the Blue Seas, north, west, east, and south, where all manner of species congregate into one place, thus making specialized ingredients much more accessible. While that certainly is a good thing for the likes of a chef, Sanji's desire to find it are probably much deeper. Sanji endured a rough childhood at the hands of his father Judge and his older siblings. He was an outcast for not being like them and having different interests, such as cooking. The All Blue represents a mythical location where all different species live together and are accepted, and such a thing of legend could be symbolic for Sanji, as for a time he wanted to be accepted. He was different than his brother, so they rejected him. He was a failure in the eyes of his father. But then he found a home at the Pirati as a chef, a passion many of them all shared. He also found a home in the Straw Hat crew, who all share a passion for friendship and adventure. Healthy environments allow dreams such as finding mythical places like the All Blue, a place many consider to be a fairy tale, to flourish. Sanji's dream is a complex one. Compared to the likes of Zoro, who has a desire to be the strongest, while a monumental task in its own right, can be seen as more feasible than finding a place that may not even exist. Sanji travels with Luffy and the others for more than just finding the All Blue. Finding it would just be a bonus, but traveling with them is also the very thing that can enable him to find it as they go to many rare places around the world. Sanji even jokes when seeing the mermaids on Fishman Island that he's found his All Blue as he's found a place that makes him happy. Similar to Zoro, Sanji accomplishing his dream is also being inspired by doing it for someone else who is unable to do so. As Zoro strives to be the strongest swordsman for Kuina to make their promise a reality, Sanji wishes to accomplish it for Zeph, as finding the All Blue is once a goal of Zeph's, though he is unable to accomplish it despite being certain it exists. Zeph encouraged Sanji to seek out the All Blue, and now Sanji wishes to carry out the dream of his mentor as well. Not much is known about the All Blue, as it is one of the many mysteries in the world of One Piece. There are theories that the All Blue could be connected to the island of Lifetail in the One Piece. Other theories suggest that the All Blue doesn't currently exist, but will be recreated in the future by Luffy or someone else destroying the Red Line. As we get further into the final saga of One Piece, we can rest assured that the mystery of the All Blue will eventually be revealed. When this reveal comes, we can see Sanji finally achieve his dream. Chopper's dream is very straightforward compared to some of the other Straw Hats, as he wants to be the world's best doctor and find a cure for all diseases. Chopper has already achieved many great feats in the field of medicine. In many ways, he owes all of his knowledge and love of medicine to his two mentors, in Dr. Hiroluke and Kureha. Hiroluke was a strong inspiration for Chopper and believed in his medical abilities so much that he willingly ate a poisonous mushroom to set Chopper on his path. Chopper's dream is a thing instilled in him by Dr. Hiroluke himself. Chopper spent a great deal of time living with the doctor, as Hiroluke even helped heal him. Hiroluke taught Chopper much about his philosophy and views on medicine, and even made the vow that he'd cure all diseases, something that undoubtedly directly inspired Chopper to pursue the same goal. Dr. Hiroluke, while hoisting the Skull and Bones cross flag he views as a symbol of faith, believed that nothing is impossible and wanted Chopper to believe that as well. Hiroluke even notes that Chopper has a big heart, the most important qualification to be a doctor. After seeing what Chopper had endured to deliver him the Amudake mushroom, Hiroluke believed there's no such thing as an incurable disease, which directly became a goal of Chopper's to prove. Taken in and brought back to health, Hiroluke was one of the first to treat Chopper with kindness and not like a monster. He instilled in him a sense of passion and kindness towards curing and treating others and fighting back against disease. We see these same feelings arise in Chopper when he learns the effects of man-made viruses and diseases, such as the smile fruits when they fail, and the viruses made by Queen, seeing them as a folly due to them being created to hurt people, when Chopper is even open to helping cure and tend to those who would be considered his enemies. Chopper's dream may seem like an impossibility to many, but the entire nature of his dream was forged by Hiroluke seeking to make the impossible possible, just as Dr. Hiroluke tried to do just that as he spent 30 years learning a way to make cherry blossoms bloom on the Winter Island, Drum Island. Chopper has already exhibited many advanced medical practices and achievements, such as creating the Rumble Ball, helping treat an injured Zunesha, and creating treatments for Queen's Mummy Virus and Ice Oni Virus, and much more. It's theorized that he will also eventually cure the side effects of the smile fruits as well, but only time will tell when Chopper will achieve his dream. Nico Robin's had a clear goal for the entirety of her character arc, to find all poneglyphs and discover the true history of the world, especially the untold stories of the Void Century. Robin has always served as a link to foreshadow and tease the world's true history for the many readers of One Piece, being that her tragic backstory is so closely tied to the uncovering of the true history of the world. Since we first met Robin, her motives have been shrouded in mystery. She has the unique and legendary ability to read poneglyphs, the large ancient artifacts with inscriptions of historical text. Once we learned of Robin's backstory, we get to see that she came from a country known as Ohara, that had many like-minded individuals and archaeologists studying the history of the world secretly, which had been forbidden by the world government. Robin is the last survivor of Ohara after the Marines issued a buster call upon its inhabitants for this forbidden research. During her childhood on Ohara, Robin endured one of the most tragic backstories that we've seen in the series. Scholars on the island were studying the ancient kingdom and the Void Century, learning much about it to the point of being able to decipher the poneglyphs, which was passed on to Robin. Having this ability and the research into it made the elders and the world government decide that all on Ohara needed to be wiped out, as the ability to read the poneglyphs is a massive threat to them. This was why, following her escape, Robin became so sought after that she was given a large bounty at such a young age and labeled a demon child. Possessing this rare ability and a strong desire to uncover the secrets behind the Void Century, this was what set the path of Robin's life. She decided to carry on the work of her home island of Ohara and began to investigate the Void Century even more as she traveled to different parts of the world trying to find the scattered poneglyphs. She even went to great lengths to acquire information regarding these, just as when she joined Baroque Works alongside Crocodile, which became a means of seeking out other poneglyphs like the ones in Alabasta. Her abilities are so rare that she is one of the only living people to possess them, making her incredibly valuable as different groups in the One Piece world have put a target on her back, which makes Luffy and the Straw Hats protective of her. She had almost given up on her dreams until Luffy inspired her to live to seek out that very dream. By traveling worldwide with Luffy to achieve his goal of becoming the Pirate King, it makes it easier for her to achieve hers, as becoming the Pirate King and reaching Laugh Tale is directly tied to the Void Century and the poneglyphs. Since joining Luffy and the others, Robin has deciphered many more poneglyphs, including the incredibly rare road poneglyphs, which reveal the path towards Laugh Tale. Robin sees it as her duty to continue the work of the people of Ohara, as well as her mother Olivia, and truly expose the secrets that the world government is working so hard to keep concealed. And as the story continues, Robin will no doubt prove essential into forging the path to Laugh Tale, discovering the One Piece, and making Luffy the Pirate King. Hey, if you've made it this far in the video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, as it helps the video do well and it helps the channel grow. Thank you. Franky has been molded for his entire life to become the world's greatest shipwright and follow in the footsteps of his mentor Tom, who previously crafted the ship of the Pirate King, the Oro Jackson, and he potentially paid the ultimate price for it. Since then, Franky dreamed of creating his own ship of dreams and sailing around the world on it as the crew's shipwright. After the events of the Water 7 and Enies Lobby arcs, Franky got his wish. He crafted the ship of his dream for the man he believes will be the Pirate King in Luffy. Franky wants the Thousand Sunny to be known far and wide as the world's best ship and the one that ferried the Pirate King and his crew to find the One Piece at Laugh Tale. Franky's mentor Tom built the Oro Jackson, the very ship that Roger and the Roger Pirates ventured out on their many travels, which concluded with Roger becoming the Pirate King. Tom was persecuted for building that ship, which ultimately resulted in him being taken to Enies Lobby in an attempt to serve his sentence to protect his students. It's unknown what his fate is, but he's most likely dead. But the impact Tom had on Franky was massive. Franky wanted to accomplish the very thing Tom did, but even surpass it. Built the greatest ship to ferry the next Pirate King, while also sailing upon it. Franky built the Thousand Sunny for the Strawhat Pirates to sail on for their future adventures. Franky has already partially achieved his dream. He's created a magnificent ship that has embarked on many adventures. Naturally, once it reaches Laugh Tale and Luffy is the Pirate King, that would be the ultimate culmination of his dream. Brook, the Straw Hats musician, has a relatively simple dream. He wants to finish his original journey of traveling around the world and reunite with his old friend Laboon. Brook wants to keep this promise that he and the other Remar pirates made to Laboon. The pirates had befriended Laboon on their journeys, but had to part ways before crossing to the Grand Line, as it would be much too dangerous for a baby whale. They promised Laboon that they would return to him and share the tales of their journeys after they finished traveling the Grand Line. Brook feels obligated as the last surviving member of the Remar pirates to see this promise through. Brook, during his travels with the Remar pirates, met a tragic fate. They were poisoned and knew there was no way to avoid their impending death. As each Remar pirate succumbed to the poison one by one, Brook was uncertain of his fate. He knew he had a fruit that may enable him to live on, so he prepared for the worst, but also carried the weight of knowing he'd be the only surviving member of his crew with great obligations going into the future. He spent decades trapped in the Florian Triangle, alone and lost, plagued by being unable to escape and fulfill his promise to Laboon. We see the impact that not seeing the Remar pirates return after many decades had on Laboon when Luffy met with him at Reverse Mountain. Brook's dream is simple: finish traveling the Grand Line completely as the Remar pirates set out to do, crew and return to Laboon to inform him of his adventure. That would have taken a lot longer than expected. Brook seeks to fulfill his promise. Like many of the other Straw Hats, Brook carries forward his dream for the sake of others who helped inspire it. The Rumbar Pirates are held near and dear to Brook's heart, and the final way he can truly honor them is by fulfilling the promise that only he can.
Storm has started coming by. Waves are dancing, sails are prancing through the wind and rain.
As the newest official member of the Strawhat Pirates, Jinbei has not had the chance to express his dream properly, but readers can infer that his dream is to unite fishmen and humans due to his tumultuous backstory and history with the likes of Fisher Tiger and Arlong. Although he wasn't officially a Strawhat at the time, we've gotten to see many of Jinbei's motivations through arcs such as Fishman Island, where it was revealed that he hopes that one day fishmen can live in peace and harmony on land amongst the other races. Although their ideologies differ, he takes great inspiration from the beliefs of his former captain Fisher Tiger and hopes to fulfill his dying wish that fishmen and humans can coexist, which is a common dream among many progressive fishmen. Jinbei has a strong devotion and loyalty to Luffy. Luffy greatly inspired him upon meeting in Impel Down and the Paramount War. Jinbei was even the one who confronted Luffy following the death of Ace when he became inconsolable, reminding him that instead of dwelling forever on failing to save Ace, that he should instead grow stronger by remembering what he still has in his crew. In the Fishman Island arc, when Luffy is low on blood, Jinbei goes against the forbidden laws on Fishman Island that prevent fishmen from giving blood to humans. Jinbei states that the law is nothing to him due to him being a pirate. Even Neptune agrees that the law is wrong, giving his blood to Luffy, and Jinbei, who is highly respected by Fishman Island, placing so much trust in a human was a step forward in amending issues between human and fishmen. Jinbei's devotion to Luffy and desire to assist him on his journeys is so great that he departed from the Fishman Pirates and even opposed Big Mom. Jinbei, due to having been an ally of the Big Mom Pirates, directly confronted her out of respect to inform her that he was joining Luffy and the Straw Hats. When Big Mom tries to punish him and take away years of his life via her devil fruit, Jinbei is resolute in his goals as he shows no fear, rendering Big Mom's fruit useless in taking his lifespan. This is even further enforced as Jinbei stays to fend off the Big Mom Pirates as the Straw Hats escape Toto Land, where he promises Luffy he will meet up with him in Wano, a promise which he fulfills. It can also be said that Jinbei's dream is to ensure that Luffy becomes the Pirate King for a multitude of reasons. If Luffy, the human embodiment of friendship, can become the Pirate King, Jinbei's ideals of fisherman equality can become much more easily achieved. Jinbei also would like to see Luffy become the Pirate King in honor of his friend Ace, Luffy's brother. Luffy naturally has aspirations of his own, perhaps the biggest of which is to become the king of the pirates, which he seemingly is well on his way to achieve. It seems though that becoming king of the pirates may just be a stepping stone for Luffy to achieve his true dream, something that has been heavily teased for many years but has yet to be revealed. We know very little regarding Luffy's dream, but what we do know is that Roger shared the same dream, and Luffy has dreamt of this since he was a child. We can also make some inferences based on the reactions of the people that he has shared his dream with. His dream is something potentially humorous, something very surprising, and something that seems impossible. There are many theories that speculate upon what Luffy's dream may be, but there isn't any concrete evidence for any of this and is all just conjecture. Many believe that Luffy's dream revolves around freedom, which aligns with his character and ideals. Some even theorize that he wants to throw a party with the whole world. Oda has gone to great lengths to conceal Luffy's dream from the reader for unknown reasons. He even had a chapter dedicated to it following Wano where he displays the reaction of every Straw Hat. Some demonstrate shock and surprise while others simply laugh. Usopp stated, "Come on, you know that's not possible," and Luffy replied that maybe it will be when he is king of the pirates. Luffy even says that Shanks had tears in his eyes when he heard Luffy's dream. Because we don't know the specifics of Luffy's dream, it's hard to say what the influences on his dream could be, but it likely lies within his core character values: freedom, friendship, and ambition. Much like all the other Straw Hats, Luffy's on the right track to make this dream come true. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I believe that the Straw Hats have all developed a secondary dream due to Luffy's influence and inspiration. That is ensuring that Luffy becomes the Pirate King at all costs. Each member of the Straw Hat crew has developed this dream after witnessing the unwavering leadership of Luffy and the trust that he places in them. None of the Straw Hats can fail at achieving their dream because Luffy trusts them so strongly that to him, failure is not an option. This confidence that he exudes becomes a guiding light for all of the crew. He believes wholeheartedly that he'll become the king of the pirates and the Straw Hats will achieve all their own dreams as well. He is almost willing it into existence. Luffy has inspired an undying loyalty and friendship from all of his crewmates. We see moments like this numerous times, such as when the proud Nami, with nowhere else to turn, finally swallows her pride and pleads to Luffy for help, or when Robin, who had denied the concept of friendship and trusting others for so long, finally admitted she wanted to live and travel with the Straw Hats. Frankie and Jinbei also left their found families because of how much they believe in Luffy's conviction of becoming the Pirate King. We see examples of Sanji even contemplating throwing away his humanity when fighting Queen. He had always rejected his German genetics of being genetically enhanced, but when they started to present his body, which he knew could make him lose his humanity, he wondered how he would be more useful to Luffy. He then chose to accept those powers as it would grant him the greatest chance of defeating Queen and assisting Luffy in becoming the Pirate King. We even see Nami remain resolute in saying that Luffy will become the Pirate King even in the face of death versus Ulti. We see Usopp's belief in Luffy Luffy at Alabasta when he's fighting Miss Merry Christmas and refuses to mock a man's dream. Zoro endured the full blunt of Kuma's trauma on Thriller Bark just so Luffy wouldn't have to. Robin sees how big of a responsibility she has to the Straw Hats, Luffy specifically. She believes that Luffy will become the Pirate King and sees Zoro and Sanji as the two wings that will allow the future Pirate King to soar. All the Straw Hats each have significant character moments that express what they are willing to sacrifice to ensure Luffy's success, a loyalty which is essential for the Pirate King to aspire in his crewmates. Eiichiro Oda has crafted such deep characters with meaningful motivations and rich backstories that it makes dissecting their dreams and aspirations such an interesting topic. There's so much content to each of the Strawhat Pirates that they could easily have a video each deep diving on their dreams individually. And so many of their dreams directly tie back to Luffy. The loyalty and devotion Luffy inspires in them makes them believe that achieving their dream is possible. And his own goal of becoming the Pirate King and being free also makes their dreams much more achievable as they also line up, such as with Nami, Sanji, and Robin's dreams, all directly tying to Luffy's journey to become the Pirate King. Luffy, being the unyielding captain that he is, has made what would be an impossible dream for many, actually possible and achievable for much of his crew as he continues to inspire them to achieve their dream as they also push him to achieve his. That's what's so interesting about the dynamic of the Straw Hats. So many of their dreams, which would be impossible on their own, tie so much together that one person seeking out theirs makes another person seeking out theirs also possible. And Luffy has assembled many of these impossible dreamers into one crew and has made it to a point now where many of these dreams are actually within reach, when many years ago most people in the One Piece world would say that would be nearly impossible. But that's a fundamental character aspect of Luffy. Luffy is someone that seeks freedom and has inspired so many. People that once scoffed at him have learned to believe in him. Every place that he's visited, he's left a better place than he found it. And much of this can be seen represented when he awakens the Nika fruit, as the old sun god Nika inspired slaves to believe that freedom was a possibility for them. Something we even see now with Luffy liberating Wano, which many residents of Wano thought impossible against the insurmountable Kaido. But that's what Luffy's always done, make dreams a reality. Dreams are something that define the world of One Piece. As Blackbeard said, a man's dreams will never die. Vegapunk believes that devil fruits exist because of people's dreams. We also see this in Luffy, as he's always shown that achieving one's dreams is possible, and always encourages others to pursue their dream. My name is Champazard. If you made it this far in the video, I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. What of the Straw Hat's dreams are you most invested in and excited to see being achieved? And how or when do you think they'll achieve it? Please consider leaving a like, commenting, and subscribing, as the engagement helps the video and helps the channel and the YouTube algorithm. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you next time.